Welcome to the Sarah Scoop Show. It's time to get the scoop with Sarah.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay Watson. I play Hana in the upcoming film, actually the now out on Netflix film, Finding Ohana. I'm an actress and model, and I've been living in LA for a while. So jumping on this film, Finding Ohana, was such a dream for me because it's a role where I play a Hawaiian girl, and I live in Hawaii, and a girl that loves her culture and loves her family. And me, Lindsay Watson, was also born in Hawaii, born in Maui, raised with my family as my best friends, and surrounded by my culture. So it was such an honor to be able to play that role, and I'm really excited. It's out for everyone to see now on Netflix. Yeah, so Finding Ohana is about a Hawaiian brother and sister. They were born in Hawaii but raised in Brooklyn. So they were raised away from their family, away from their culture. One summer, they have to fly back home to Hawaii because their grandpa's not doing so well. And while they're there, they end up finding this secret journal that leads them on this treasure hunt. And they meet these friends in Hawaii, and they go on this insane treasure hunt through caves and waterfalls. And all the while through this story, there's a big message about Ohana, which is family, and learning about the struggles of it and the importance of it. And also, the brother and sister really have this moment to reconnect back to their Hawaiian culture and learn about a part of them that they really didn't have a chance as they grew up in Brooklyn. So it's a really fun, heartwarming story, but with lots of fun treasure and adventures all throughout. Yeah, I am. So it's still a crazy thing for me to hear our movie compared to the Goonies, because I grew up watching the Goonies and it was such an iconic, funny, adventurous movie. So having the chance to actually be in the modern day Hawaiian Goonies, as they say, has been insane. I mean, we've been doing stunts, and we were on waterfalls, we were in caves, real caves, fake caves. And I don't think it was till I was actually there filming that I realized how similar it was to the Goonies. I mean, we have little fun treats, like we have Kwan, who is also in the Goonies, who was in our movie. That was so fun to shoot with. He's such a joy. And there's lots of little Easter eggs that our awesome director Jude Wang put in there. So if you're a Goonies fan, like keep an eye out for all the little things throughout. So the moment I found out I got the role of Hana, it was really such an insane moment for me. After reading the script and realizing that this was going to be a movie with Hawaiian characters as the leads, and Hana is this really strong female lead. She's got attitude. She's really spicy. Like, she's not your nice average girl. So that's what was really fun, to know that the Hawaiian character was going to come to the screen, but not as just this nice side character. She's this powerful woman. So it was really fun to jump into that. And it was seamless. I mean, me growing up in Hawaii, as I said, very similar to how the character Hana grew up, surrounded by her family, with her culture. So it was so easy for me to jump right into that mindset of growing up in Hawaii and just having this passion for your family, for your culture, for your land. Hana is very determined to protect and preserve all of that, which is something that's so dear to my heart. So it almost was too easy jumping into the character and building that world around her, because it essentially was my world. So having the moment when we got on set, and it felt so natural right away. I mean, we were just, all of us, that's the funny of the movie, is that all of our characters are so similar to who we are in real life. It was almost hard to tell when we were on set and off set, because we were so similar to our characters. But I found it just such a joy to play Hana and represent the Hawaiian culture in such a strong way. It's so cool. I mean, the Hawaiian culture has never seen the screen on this scale. So things like Moana started to pave the way for the Polynesian cultures, and specified to the Hawaiian culture has been so cool. People see the surface level of what Hawaii is when they come to visit, grass skirts, hula, and things like that. But in this movie, you get to see a little glimpse of what real life is like there in Hawaii. It's not always pretty. It's not always paradise. There's struggle with it, but there's a lot of love and aloha and passion that is involved in the daily life in Hawaii. So that was really important for us to get across. Yeah, so that was the awesome part about this project from the start. It was really weird. As an actress in LA, you get, I mean, hundreds of auditions and they come through every day. And growing up, I never really saw anyone like me on the screen, no Hawaiians or anything. So I never really expected to see an audition notice that's going to say Native Hawaiian at the top. So the day that popped up on my screen and it said in bold letters, looking for real Polynesian Native Hawaiians, and I was so shocked. I was like, this can't be real. So I looked into it, I submitted, and when I got the audition, I read the sides, and it was so crazy because I could tell immediately that some from Hawaii was involved in the project because the language is so specific to how we speak in Hawaii. I mean, it's language you'd only know if you lived in the islands and were immersed in the culture there. So I immediately knew they were really serious about it. So that made me so excited. And then getting to the audition process and working with our awesome casting director, she was just so cool. And they were all ears. They wanted to hear about the wine culture. They knew I was from there. We got to talk and really break down what it's like, how accurate the script was. And our director, Jude Wang, who's just always just so amazing. She was so open to learn about the Hawaiian culture and make sure she was doing justice to the culture on screen. And for me, it was such a nice moment as a Hawaiian to know that my voice could be heard while we were on set, to make sure that we're doing it the right way and showing true respect to our culture, our people, the land. And knowing that Hana's character does that throughout the whole movie was just something so amazing. There was definitely a weight on my shoulders from the start because being a Hawaiian girl, I went to Hawaiian school. That's a lot of pressure to make sure that I'm not making mistakes. And the first big production and on this huge platform of Netflix, 190 countries, it's kind of nerve-wracking to know that it was going to be my face and my name that was bringing the Hawaiian culture to the screen. But with the guidance of everyone and the help that so many people poured into this project, I think it really, really turned into an awesome project. We're proud. We're really proud. I mean, we had people that weren't even involved in the Hawaiian culture, had no, history with it, that just jumped right in and blended just with the Hawaiian. So it was so cool to see so many people were so passionate about the project and just leading with so much heart. It's what really made the project work. Oh, yeah, I think I it's fresh in my mind because I just watched the movie when it came out last night. But my favorite, hands down, Hana scene is when she's first introduced and she's walking out of her Jeep, and it's that stereotypical slow motion walk with the hair blowing in the wind. And it was Jude, of course, being the genius behind it, who she said, I don't like to be that typical pretty girl thing, like, let's do something different. And so she came up with this idea of the trip that happens with Hana. And we had to kind of really work through the steps. She was like, I don't really know how we're gonna achieve this, but let's just go for it and try. And I was so down for it. So came the day, we had the tray of malasadas, and we actually did a few different versions. So the first version we did is, oddly enough, we tried to film it backwards. It was really difficult. So I had to like start from the end where I was flicking it and then trip backwards and then pretend like I was normal. So that one was a tricky one. But then how we ended up actually executing the shot was, I go and we filmed it separately. I trip, and then the other part was really cool. I had three crew members above me on ladders dropping the malasadas, which had magnets in it that were sticking to my magnetic plate. So it was such a crazy moment because it was so not planned. Everything was kind of, run and gun. We were trying to figure it out on the moment, and it ended up turning out to be an awesome. It cracks me up every single time knowing the mechanics that went into making that scene, and it kind of turned out perfect. We only took a few shots, and it's a fun scene. That take off of the perfect slow-mo walk of the pretty girl, turning it into like a more fun, relatable version of Hana. Yeah, so flying to Thailand was insane. First of all, it was my first time out of the country. So that was a really big step when you've never left the country. And we flew from Hawaii over to Thailand, and we were so lucky to be all around Thailand. We were in Bangkok, Phuket, Krabi, and we got to see a lot of beautiful places. I think what was so cool about it was seeing actually how similar it is to Hawaii and the culture in Hawaii. They're such kind, loving people, and they're really selfless people, and they were so helpful on set, and we had fun off of set. We got to see such beautiful places. We went on the James Bond tour where you got to see like the island that they used for I don't know what movie it was, one of the James Bond, but it was so beautiful. I mean, it was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. We had to be prepared for the creatures that they had there, which totally opposite from Hawaii. We don't even have snakes. We don't have anything in Hawaii that could possibly scare you. And here in Thailand, they were constantly reminding us to be aware of snakes. They're like, and not just below you, make sure you look up too. When we were in the forest, they're like, the snakes could be down in the grass or hanging in the trees, so beware. We were in the caves, there were bats. There was so much like new territory that I'd never encountered before, but it was so worth it because it was beautiful all the while, and the best people, and the best food, the best Thai food you'll ever have. I can't eat Thai food ever since Thailand because it was so good there. Oh my God. I mean, it still kind of haunts me to this day. We had a snake wrangler on set, and he would be like, we found a cobra yesterday on the set. I'm like, oh, that's fine. That's totally normal. Oh man, I mean, from the start, Netflix has just been so amazing. I mean, it's my first time working with them, never knew what to expect. And it was all the hype that everyone talks about. They are such a strong team there, and they were so supportive of our project. I think that was the biggest thing, knowing that they had no connection to the wine culture or anything like that. But once they read the script, they saw the importance in telling the story and putting on a platform like theirs, 190 countries, 193 million subscribers, like things that are just insane to know that many people are going to get a glimpse at the Hawaiian culture. So first of all, the team there was so supportive. They loved our movie from the start. They were there cheering us on the whole time. So it was so fun. And then overall, just Netflix took such great care of us. They made sure that we were always happy, we were in safe conditions, and till the end. I mean, they still send us little goodies to celebrate the release, and we got our Netflix gear. So I mean, we're always repping it. We love it. They are such a fun company to work with. So we're super blessed. I have two films that I just got off of one, and I technically just got off of two. I filmed two movies in the ending of last year. So those are going to be coming out hopefully this year. I can't talk a lot about them. The first one that I did is called Win in the Reckoning. And that one, what I can say about it is it's a complete opposite play off of Finding Ohana, in the sense of the character I play is so different. I mean, it was really fun. Actually, it was a total polar opposite moment for me. I got to jump into this role of Hana, who's this young, spunky, modern day girl. And When in the Reckoning is actually set in the 1800s in Hawaii. So it's a whole another time period, getting myself into that character who's she's a mother, she's a wife, she's just this insanely strong, dedicated woman. And I mean, that's the similarities between her and Hana, actually, that they're just strong women that don't take any BS. So it was totally fun to jump into the role, but as an actor, it took a lot of work to get into that mindset of this 1800s, speech pattern. You're going to start more of the Hawaiian language, which is really, really such an honor, because the Hawaiian language doesn't get to see the screen a lot. It's kind of a dying language. So that was a fun one. So I'm actually really excited for that when they come up. People are going to get to see a whole nother side of Lindsay.
Thank you for watching The Sarah Scoop Show. Head to sarahscoop.com for more.